All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation, YouTube station? We are back with another quick hit for Sunday Night Football. We got a cool quarter meal up top. We got Joe Burrow headed into LA to take on Justin Herbert, which I think is going to be a very good game. We're going to break it down for you right now. I'm solo tonight, as you can see. Main slate just started. Hopefully your Sunday is off to a great start. If you aren't a member over at SHIPIT Nation, we're celebrating Hebrew entitled Just Crushing It over in the NBA streets. Enter the promo code NBA50. That'll get you 50% off your first month over at the Nation. We'd love to have you. Make sure you're hitting that like. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're putting your favorite captain in the chat below. It certainly helps us out a lot. I like going back and looking to see who the people like to see. We're going to go. We're going to start with the captain spot. You got Jamar coming off his, what did he get, 200 yards last game? Close to 200 yards. His last contest, 264, got closer to 300 than he did to 200. He was just balling against those Ravens in that secondary that's not very stout against the pass. But Jamar Chase up at $18,000. He's going to be popular. Joe Burrow would be next at $15,900. J.K. Dobbins at $15,000. Chase Brown $14,400, so forth and so on. But let's talk about, I'm going to give you my three favorite captain spots, and then we'll get right into the flex. My favorite captain spot of the night is going to be T. Higgins. T. Higgins coming off that injury. He's missed the last, I think, 3 games. And when this guy gets back into the fold, they really like to feature him, the football, at a great price point, $12,900 up there in the captain spot. I think he does very well tonight against this secondary of the Chargers. He would be my favorite captain. Jamar Chase would be number 2. And the reason I have Higgins over Chase is just that $5,000 price difference. I don't want to spend that for Higgins because there's some guys down below that I want to get to. Chase would be number 2 for me. And then my favorite Charger would be Justin Herbert. He would also come in at number 3, 14-1. We saw he can, they're not afraid to run him around the goal line, which I like, right? Herbert and Burrow, historically speaking, aren't generally running quarterbacks, but they both can. They don't do it often, but Herbert got that rushing touchdown. We know it's in his bag. And the thing about Herbert, and Tambo talks about it too, when A-Rod was in Optimal the captain, he's just going to fire to Disley. He's going to fire to McConkey. He's going to fire to QJ, Josh Palmer. They don't mind throwing to the back. So there's just so many people that he can get the ball to. So that's why he would be my favorite captain for the Chargers. But it'd be Higgins coming off that injury. I think he's healthy. All signs point to he's back to close to 100%. Jamar Chase is a nice play too. And then Justin Herbert would be my favorite captain on the Chargers side, 1, 2, and 3 for me tonight. We're going to get into some flex plays real quick. We always start with the kickers and the defenses. And once again, you got Dicker, the kicker, who always seems to ship on a showdown. 5-4, they're pricing him up there. I do like Dicker, the kicker. You got Money Mac at $5K. I think both of these kickers are in great spots. We should see, I think, a back and forth affair in this one. We know the Chargers, I think it was something crazy. I don't think they've given up. I think it was 21 points or 20 points all season long, which is pretty impressive. I think that changes tonight. I think we see both teams get 24 plus, and I think I would choose Dicker, the kicker, over Money Mac. And I know a little bit different price points, but I would take Dicker over McPherson. And then the two defenses. I think defenses are always fine in Showdown. The Bengals did have some injury concerns. I saw Trey Hendrickson had a personal matter and was dealing with something else, but looks like he's going to play. Looks like everybody is healthy. I think Khalil Mack was on the injury report. I think Mack is in. I think Bosa is in as well. If you didn't think this game was going to be a shootout and it was going to be more of a more of a defensive game. I don't hate either one of these for whatever reason. I think the Bengals would be more opportunistic in this game. They just always seem to, find a way to get a touchdown or a sack or something like that. Not to say that the Chargers can't do it, but if I'm having to pick between the two, if I'm only picking one of the two, it would be the Chargers. Let's talk about some of the plays down. I'm going to say below 5.4. Let's go 5.8. Josh Palmer and below. I think Palmer is not a bad play in terms of just being a guy down there. If you're going to need to save some money, he only saw 2 targets last week, which obviously you want to see more than that for a guy priced at that kind of price point. But what I would say about him is that, or about them, is that they didn't really need to throw the ball last week. They just grounded and pounded. And if they can get behind, he would be that third receiver getting in those 3 receiver sets. So don't hate Josh Palmer down there. Yeah, looking at some of these other guys, I would say Gus Edwards too. Gus Edwards did see 10 carries in his first game back, had a little pop in him. He's not going to catch many passes, but if you built a script to where, hey, Gus Edwards was going to get 15 carries at $3,400, I think that's a great play. No Jermaine Burton, not with T back. Khalil Herbert, I think he had 1, maybe 2 carries last week, and then after that, they were like, "Nah, fam, we're good." Or no, I don't even think it was a carry. I think he had a fumble. So it's tough to find guys. I mean, I feel like every week it's really tough to find guys down here. I guess my favorite cheap Bengal would have to be Tanner Hudson at 3.8, right? We saw him 7 targets last week, got in the box. Everybody's focusing on Gesicki. So Tanner Hudson would be my favorite flex down there. Just some of the other flex guys. I know Chase Brown's going to be popular tonight. And that's strictly due to volume, right? Ever since he's been inserted into the starting lineup, his workload and his percentage has just been phenomenal. Targets 11 last week on top of 13 carries, 27 carries the week before that. They are running this guy all over the place. He's certainly in play. Well, I haven't built teams yet, but Chase Brown definitely needs to be in there. Earlier in the week, I did have a little bit more interest in Dobbins just because that Bengals defense was kind of beat up. I think it was B.J. Hill questionable. So make sure you see what he's doing. I mentioned Trey Hendrickson. Logan Wilson was on the injury report as well. So they have a bunch of question marks. And if several of those guys do miss, then Dobbins will skyrocket up for me. Let's talk McConkey versus Johnston on the LA side. Once again, I'm going to side with QJ, $1,200 cheaper, should come in less owned. He's more of a big play guy, in my opinion. He can take the top off. Big red zone target as well. You saw him catch, I think it was like a 15 to 20-yarder last week against the Titans, just in the red zone. I think they're going to target him more just because of his size. So I think McConkey's certainly a great play as well, but I would side with Quentin just because of his red zone presence in there. So let me just recap real quick. I'm going to say T going to be my favorite captain, followed by Jamar. I don't hate, and once again, I haven't built teams, but I don't hate both of those guys together. If you have both of those guys, I would probably put Joe Burrow in there as well. I mean, obviously you get pretty thin once you stack those 3 because you are going to have, it will take away a lot of your salary, but it would be T, Jamar, and then Justin Herbert would be my favorite captain for the Chargers and my 3rd overall captain. That'll do it for me. Quick hit today with no nades. We'll be back breaking it all down. If you have any questions, make sure you're hitting it in the chat. Make sure you're hitting me up on X if you have any questions there, Hamwich8 at DFS. And if you aren't a member, hit that promo code NBA50. That'll get you your first month free at 50% off. I appreciate you tuning in. Hit the like, hit subscribe. I gave you my 3 favorite captains. Let me know your 3 favorite if you're different. Appreciate it. All right. For SHIPIT Nation, I'm Ham. Hopefully we'll see you at the top of the leaderboard. You'll be a cool $250,000 richer. Don't forget, let's ship it.